Welcome to Knife Thoughts. This video is going to be on these chew knives, and these are both the same version of the number 47 Viper from Great Eastern Cutlery from the run here in 2023. So they're doing another run of the Viper. They did one in 2016, one in 2020. I had one from the run in 2020, but sold it anticipating getting one of these. And the reason for that is because I think that Ebony, Ebony, whatever, however you say it, is a really classic handle material for a traditional knife, and particularly for a sway back like this with really traditional styling. I actually didn't think I was going to get any of these. They have been going super fast on drops. I have not been doing well on drops, and so I was considering going to the factory to get one, but then I was able to get not one but two. It's kind of like that's how it goes sometimes. But as you'll see, not as happy a story as that might seem getting two of them. So I'm going to show you this one first here, and you know, the 47 Viper, it's a sway back pattern, and it's one that, you know, people really loved. And I remember when they did a rerun of them in 2020, everybody was super fired up. And let me make sure this is the right one. This is the wrong one. I'm going to show you the other one first. Everybody was super fired up and, you know, excited because they hadn't done a run for 4 years, and so people were really happy to see it. I actually think that I got every version from that run. I kind of went wild in 2020, and, you know, with the free time and stuff, was able to buy a bunch of knives that I didn't really need. But this was the first one that I got actually from this run, and it's pretty nice. So first of all, I do really like the Ebony. I think that the nice dark wood with a little bit of grain in it really looks great, particularly again on a sway back. And I don't mind this etch. I know some people really don't like this etch. I don't mind it. I also prefer the Titty version with the drawn swedge versus the cut swedge. I think it's easier to open and just looks better. But overall, I think this is a really nice knife. Now, it's not perfect. You can see there's a little bit of a void there in the wood, not a huge deal. There's a gap around the shield, which, you know, that could have been filled in with glue. They do that pretty often. And honestly, those gaps around the shields, I think that they've been around, you know, kind of the whole time with GEC, or a lot of the time, but they might be a little bit more common recently. I'm not sure. It's so hard to tell, even with the number of GECs I buy. You know, it's still a small sample size. Now, one thing that a lot of people in the Barlow Bearcat Club, you know, it's really kind of the only social media that I really pay attention to as much anymore, have had an interesting issue where the liners were proud of the scales. So the scales, the covers, didn't cover the entire liners. It's something you see on older knives when the wood has shrunk, but it's not something I recall seeing, at least not, you know, commonly in a run on GEC knives before. This one has it very slightly, so you can see kind of right here, you know, I can catch my fingernail just a little bit, and just kind of catch my fingernail the whole way along there. So you can kind of see a little bit of light there, and that's the liner sticking out in front of the handle. Same deal here, not as much, but a little bit on this side also. So that's an issue, I think, again, that I would not expect to see on a GEC. Not something I've seen commonly on GECs, but it is something that several people have had that I've seen, you know, pictures of from this run. So I got this one and I thought, that's not too bad. I've got a little bit of gap in the shield, a little bit of the liners are exposed. Maybe the next one will be better. Well, that wasn't the case. So I'm going to show you the other one that I got here. And this one has, first of all, the same thing. So this one has it more. It's easy to catch my fingernail on this. You can see it better, I think, the light reflecting off of that. So definitely more noticeable. It's on both sides. It's a little bit less on this side. It is definitely on the blade well side also. You can see it easier on this one than on the last one. I can catch my thumbnail on there pretty easily, and I think you can see it pretty easily right now also. So that was a disappointment. Now the shield actually doesn't really seem to have any gaps. The other thing here is that the tip on this one sits, you know, I don't know if people would call that proud, but to me it is, because you see that line there? That is because I can easily catch, hear that? You can easily catch your finger on that. So it's too proud. I mean, when you sharpen that one time, and this would be a user, my Viper from 2020 was a user, a relatively heavy user actually. I liked using it. Wish that I hadn't sold it at this point with how these turned out, but if you sharpen it, it's going to be high enough that you could catch it on, you know, your clothes, things like that. So that's not awesome, you know, but I could drop the kick some. And by the way, the other one was not proud. So this one sits deeper. I would say sits deep enough. I would probably still drop the kick on this one a little bit, but then I realized that this one has a significant crack at the tube, lanyard tube. And honestly, let me look at it here. I thought maybe I just noticed one on the other side also, but I don't think there is one on the other side. But these lanyard tubes, you know, they're flared, and they are, you know, something that you see causing cracks relatively often, but I feel like this should have been caught. It's pretty easy to see, and it's not like it's just like a line. First of all, you can catch your fingernail in it, you know. It's not a hairline crack either. There's space there. And it's also not like it's just, you know, partial cracked. It's the whole way through. I think you can see that there. Definitely the whole way through. And, you know, if this is, so let's think about the kind of the two main reasons you buy a GEC. The first, honestly, for most people is that it's a collection piece. It's something that you appreciate, the artistry of, the history. That's a big reason for me. I don't really need more user knives, but I love that these are made close to where I live, that the people that make them I know and are you know, always great to talk with, and that they're made like the knives, you know, that were made 100 and more years ago, and that they're beautifully made knives. And I think, you know, whether you're buying it as a collection piece just because you enjoy it, or because, you know, the value, right, which I don't really do, but I know a lot of people do. I think that the crack is an issue, right? It's just something that should have been caught, and an S model at the very least. I think that definitely, you know, I've bought S model knives, store model knives, which are really seconds, that had, you know, no noticeable flaw, and then this with a crack in it is not an S model. Did it happen between when GEC shipped it and when I got it? I don't know, maybe. But then the other reason is as a user, and for me, I don't know about you, but I drop my knives all the time. And I think if I drop this knife and it hit the butt, it wouldn't be unlikely that this would just straight up crack off. So, you know, I do think that it's a significant issue either way. So I'm kind of disappointed in this run. You know, it's the first one I got, I thought, those issues are kind of unusual, but, you know, it is what it is, I guess. You know, it's not too bad. Maybe the second one would be better. Well, the second one was significantly worse. So not super fun. You know, these aren't, I think that they're a good price for what you get, honestly, when they're made the way they normally are. But it's no fun to get one with a significant issue like that, especially with how difficult they are to get. Now, again, like I said, I got two, so I can't really complain. But I didn't think I was gonna get any. I missed the drops at the normal, you know, kind of places that I buy at, and just ended up getting these ones. So, you know, I am going to contact, or actually I did contact GEC. I emailed them, but it was at like 4 o'clock on Friday, so I probably won't hear back till Monday or later in the week about the one with the crack. Hopefully they, you know, will fix it. If not, I might sell it to somebody for super cheap and make the other one a user, or vice versa. I really don't know. It'll just depend on what they have to say. But I wanted to make a video. I always try to be honest in my videos, show you the good and the bad. This time, not super good. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you give it a thumbs up. You can check out my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on, we'll leave it like that, knives like these and knife related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.